Alright folks, welcome to this exciting video where you once again join us in the beautiful landscape of Scotland. Today we're joined by Highlander87 out here, and today we're about to punch on down to a little location. I have actually been here once, but it was in the wintry months when it was cold and miserable, and Highlander's never been down here. So today, this is actually the longest day of the year, and it's a proper heat wave here in Scotland, so we've come down here for a wee adventure and a chill out and just see what action we get into. And this is actually the Kinneff area on the east of Scotland, and there's some cool history as well as beautiful landscapes, so let's get into action. Check it out folks, I always promise you cool abandoned history, like this little cottage perched on the edge of this massive cliff overlooking the wild North Sea, and we're basically passing by this on today's adventure as we head further over. We're looking for a cool little area here to chill out, and I'm sure there is one over at the far side of this field. I think last time I was here, the local lady that was walking, she told me this was actually a butterfly field down here. Yeah, look at that folks, the history on display here. Imagine the wee community that had been down here. A fishing community most likely. And I love a spot like this, see on a summer's day. Here Highlander, see over there in that bay, there's a massive arch. Can you see it from where you're standing? It's like Elephant Rock, but even bigger and more extreme. Check it out folks, in the centre of the frame right there, we've got a Scottish ladybird walking about. This is perfect conditions for them. And shout out whoever cuts this grass. I love the adventures when you can go into a piece of landscape like this and it's quite easy to walk. You see all the wildlife as well as the cool history. The landscape around here, it's just breathtaking. And over the years we've actually walked most of this coast and absolute miles from the far villages up this coast. And yeah, that wee shed at the far side was like an old winch shed. And there's even more buildings right here, check it out folks. This is super cool. Yeah, different times of year as well, like it's cool to come back to these places because it looks so different now to when I was here the last time. I came at the tail end of the winter when everything had died back. The land was so different, and I remember that day the waves were ripping in there ferociously. Today it's this mad summertime conditions, and now we're just about the end of June, and it's amazing how quick the years pass by. Look at this display here with the thistles. And then look at that, the clover. The whole ground here is white with the clover throughout this field and through this path. We just go to the right, I think, and then there should be a wee path. Eh? Highlander's talking about the bees here, folks. Let's take a look.
1, 2, 3.
Oh,
4,
aye.
5, 6.
There's just so many bees and other beasts as well, like that unusual moth-looking beast. Check it out folks, look at that, there is a lot of moths and butterflies in this grass, and we're now down out of the butterfly field. We basically punched our way along the side. Now we're in this mad terrain. We're going to chill out roughly in this area. Yeah, I need to check if there's any ticks or anything crawling about on me, and then I'll update you. Check this out folks, in this area we've got a brown egg, the white egg, and look, the green egg. 3 different eggs, and there's another brown kind of coloured one. And look at the bedrock, we're about to kind of chill out. I don't even know what, we'll probably find a little spot here I was thinking, and we'll observe the North Sea. It's often cool to come to these areas because they're not overgrown and they're not too crazy. Even that field there was a bit of a battle at times where the grass was a little thicker. But yeah, this is absolutely incredible. It's so hot today and humid. Scotland's actually in a heat wave. What are you saying? Wow! That is incredible. It does, eh? That rock pool, it's just... Whew. We need to be so careful here. I'm staying away from the dangerous areas today. We're keeping it safe. This rock can be unpredictable. But yeah, what a madness. Look at this scene looking down towards the lands of like Inverbervie. Places like that. Before we came here today, we didn't even know where to go. Some places are super busy. Other places we just weren't sure. We thought, why not come here? We're actually late in the day. I was working this morning and stuff, so we're making the most of our adventures. We came such a long way to get here. If I'd come my usual road in a straight line, but like it would have been half the time. But that's the fun about our adventures, because we're always looking out the window to see if there's anything we've never seen before that we can document. Look at this here. That's a funny shaped egg, like.
I'm thinking we could just sit.
Yeah, this is quite a nice bit right here, eh? And even that bit in front of us, like here and in front of us, is kind of a good area. Look at the wee birds flying about. Look, that's a puffin thing. What's it called? It's not a puffin, is it? Is that what they're actually called?
Yeah.
Aye. Look, there's another one.
Maybe I'll look at my toilet.
Those little puffin birds is flying about here, folks, and it's.
They might attack the toilet.
Look at it going round. They're like little miniature penguins. I think they actually live on the face of these rocks. Obviously, when we're exploring, we're always keeping our eyes to the ground for like ground nesting birds and stuff like that. We're always coming with respect to nature itself as we walk. All the eggs that we've seen so far today are all those ones that's actually been eaten by a certain type of animal. That's why sometimes the birds actually nest on the rocks out there where it's cut off from the mainland. If they're over here in a place like this, the rodents and rats come down and they start like eating the eggs basically. Yeah, these birds are flying round and round. They must actually be getting a feed, getting their tea. Wow, yeah, these are sheer cliffs, but we're in a safe area, folks. There's birds of all sorts, little songbirds, those puffins, and then you've got the usual like seagulls. I've seen pigeons. There's so many of these puffin things. Like, there's another pigeon. The longer you stand somewhere in Scotland, the more stuff you see. Look at this, folks. There's actually 2 ladybirds here, but another interesting thing, there's an ant as well, and the ant looks like it's a way to attack it. I'm just going to keep the camera super steady here to get the footage. It's an ant. Oh, it's run away. Look, the ladybirds come over here for protection by the camera. There's loads of ants in that bush. See that, folks? It's nature and wildlife on this channel. That's what I absolutely love. And these seabirds are doing flybys on us, and they're quite cool. They maybe didn't come out too well, but look, they keep going past. Sometimes they come right in close and fly over our heads. The landscape in these areas of Scotland is so unique and so vast. And yeah, I'm not going too close to the edge, even at this area. Look at this seagull. Kiki! So I don't know if you could see for the time lapse there, folks, the rain moved in. So we're now punching on back up this hill. That's what our adventures are like, it's spontaneous. We were chilling down there for ages, and then I thought I'll do a time lapse, and then sure enough, on came the rain. Absolutely crazy, and we're not even prepared for the rain. But it has been kind of on and off today. But for sure that was the worst storm. It's still on right this second. Back in the 1700s, you'd be walking past the person's house door here, or potentially these were just buildings for the fishing industry and community. Maybe their houses were actually up at the Kinneff village, but it's cool to see the buildings anyway. There's been another one here that's more far gone. So much fishing heritage dating back to ancient times in Scottish history. Coming up here in the 1700s would have been a different scene. Alright folks, for the next part of this video, this is now the next day, and yesterday got rained off at Kinneff. The last clips you saw was me and Highlander up at Kinneff in the rain. But now it's the next day, and it's a beautiful day, and I've come to another one of these Scottish villages, or near a village, and it's actually Arbirlot. Check it out. There's this big stone here, look. What does that say? 1969 there, look. That's been put there. It's an old mill wheel. Look, the centre's still in it. Yeah, Arbirlot here is actually a wee village kind of near Arbroath, and I've no stopped here before on a video, so today I just thought I would pull the car in. It's a little picture postcard village, and I think there's a few paths and stuff go down to the river. I think there's potential for even like a little waterfall and stuff down here. So what a better place for an adventure, folks. Look at the old church with old stained glass windows. It's like walking about in a postcard when you come to a spot like this. Yeah, look at it there, folks. There's the Arbirlot waterfall. And I've never been here, and that's what I love on the channel, bringing you places every week that I've never been. Yesterday was obviously rained off, so it put a stop to our adventures at Kinneff, and I was always wanting to do more this weekend. So for the rest of this video, let's go and have a look down here, see what it looks like, see what's been done at an ancient time. It's like there's been a wee bridge there at one time, or a wall. Who even knows, folks? It looks like there's an area we can get down to. And yeah, look at this, it is just a beautiful village. So as you can see here, folks, this is actually classed as the Arbroath path network, and it's 1.5 miles to Elliot. What's this here? Look at this, folks. Aberdeen City, what's this? Oh, dog walking, folks. Somebody offering dog walking. I thought initially it was saying that a dog had gone missing or whatever. Yeah, wow, I love these little summer walks when everything's fully growing. All the trees and bushes are in bloom. The landscape is just incredible. Look at this, here's the waterfall down here. Wow, that's an insane scene right there, folks. Wow, see with the bridge behind, that's what makes a scene like this. Check it out, folks, that is a real Scottish postcard right there. A scene like that with the old bridge, the waterfall in the foreground. The water doesn't actually look the clearest down here, but we are quite low. We're in the lowlands of Angus today for this adventure, so there's probably sewage and stuff in these burns down at the low level. Often the streams and rivers that we go to are clear because they're so high up in the hills, often near the original source. Wow, yeah, I'll go up and have a look at the top of this waterfall. We'll get it from all angles, and as you can see, this has all been built at a certain time here, so I'm not sure what's been going on. Everything's so overgrown. It's like looking down a jungle with this postcard scene in the middle of it all. Yeah, this is so cool, folks. I love going to these places, and like I say, when I've never been somewhere, everything's new to me, and it's crazy in Scotland how stuff like this is just hidden. Almost like if you go on the main road, even through Arbirlot, you've got no idea such a beautiful scene is just below here. Wow, look at the bedrock here, is what the water wears its way through and over. Look at the bridge, I love the detail here on the stonework. You know, look, there's loads of little fish there, folks. See them all in the water? Little tiny fish swimming about. I'll try and get them to move around so they're actually easier to see. Oh, there they go. Must be young fish, folks. Maybe some brown trout. Because the sun's shining through, I can see them, and there's actually thousands of them here. Wow, this has been so cool. I had no idea it was going to actually look so amazing down here. Everywhere I turn, even looking up here with the ivy over this rocks, it's just breathtaking. The clear water there dropping over the rocks into that, and it just basically carves its way down through. And I think there's houses and stuff in this village of Arbirlot where their garden actually backs onto this, so they could just basically come out of their garden, and they're right here. That must be incredible. Look, this beech tree here has tumbled at a certain time as well. Oh, there's a date on the bridge. It looks like it says potentially 1508. Let me try and get a better look of it for here. Yeah, there's a date on the bridge there, folks. It's maybe... it could even be, now I'm looking at it for here, it looks like it says 1855. And that would be more likely, judging from the construction, I would say, with the stonework. Yeah, there we go, folks. A little nugget of Arbirlot and the waterfall here. You can see the colour of the stone, or maybe you can't even see it on the camera. It's kind of like red stone down there. Anyway, let's punch on a bit further and see if there's anything else cool here that we can see. I'm not sure where that actual path 1.5 miles to Elliot goes. I think it's actually along the top, maybe along there or whatever. I might have a wee look. Look at this from here. You have to imagine in a storm how crazy this probably looks. I'm back up on top of the bridge right now, folks. I was wanting to have a wee look over the upstream side of the river here. Oh yeah, look how overgrown everything is, folks. It's just mad. Shout out to the couple that's sitting along there having a picnic as well. It's just perfect conditions for that today. I might actually have a wee look across the other side of here. Yeah, look, there's a wee gate going in here, but I'm really not sure as to where it leads. It looks like the path just pretty much stops up there. Because everything's so overgrown, I'm basically not going to be going too hardcore off the track today. So I think at this side is the old church and graveyard. Look, there's a pigeon on top of the gravestone with a stick in its mouth. Probably working on a nest. But yeah, I think the more modern graveyard's actually over at this side. But yeah, well, how do we look in here potentially? Because it looks like there's some ancient gravestones. I love seeing the wee bells still up in the little bell tower. Often the character of the architecture is what makes these old churches and stuff so special. They often give a little village a lot of character with the church in the middle of it. Probably such a main building in a community like this at a certain time, whereas now, for sale I believe, anybody that's wanting to buy this place. Yeah, I don't know how, if we can get in. Let's have a look. Oh, we can get in. Yeah, look folks, for sale. This is the thing with the churches just now. It looks like that could be the church hall at that other side. Yeah, the churches just now in Scotland, most of them, or a lot of them, are for sale. Church of Scotland obviously selling that on, which is a sad thing. Well, if you're wanting to buy it, it's not a sad thing, but if you think about the whole story of Christianity and how all this was built in such a main building at one time on the land, and now there's just no enough people, no enough funds here supporting it in each little local community. All the local churches now sold, made into private residences. And look, this is for the fallen soldiers of Arbirlot, 1914 to 1918. Let's take a look at these names here, folks, and document them. Sometimes the names of the families here could have relations all over the world. People that watch my videos in different countries, often there's a lot of Americans and stuff that have family connections here with Scottish history. Yeah, it is interesting. Look at this as well, folks. This ancient stone, look, 1730. So in the 1730s, think about that, and then they've got grand stained glass windows, actually with perspex in front of them to protect them and to give them an extra few years of life. Yeah, let's take a wee walk around. This is a really small village. You can actually pretty much see the end of it. There's just like a few rows of houses, a few buildings, but it's crazy the history probably in this place. Look at this, they've got these fences here for some reason. I'm not sure what that reason would be. Yeah, look at that, it's well kept, even though, oh look at this. Let's see if there's any dates that we can read. Because the sun's shining on it, it's actually probably better for seeing the engravings. You have to think of the cold, windy, rainy days that this sort of stone puts up with. Look at that, the skull and crossbones at the bottom. Wow. Yeah, look, it's like, I'm sure that says 1652. So just think, folks, 1652. Like, it's mad to get your head around some of the dates in Scotland. Look at this as well. The ancient history with these stones, it's just, wow. They spent so much time. You would think literally in the 1600s it wouldn't be the same. Look at this, let's have a look in. Wow. You can see the stained glass windows at the far end. Absolutely beautiful. And that's what I say about the architecture and the history in Scotland. Each little village and town's got its own wee nuggets like this. Some of the gravestones here are more grand than others. Some gravestones here are more ancient than others. And sometimes after humans have lived an incredible life or an important life, all that's left to tell their story here in the land can be a headstone with a name. All the dead often forgotten, little stories that made them laugh, now also forgotten or whatever. And it is interesting just to think about that. And like sometimes as well, after these places kind of get bought over and made into private residences, it's no as good coming in to walk about the graveyards and to document the stones. I think when I was out on the path I actually noticed really ancient gravestones up here, so let's have a wee look. So check it out folks, this is actually a real ancient big stone, but this is just the top half sitting on its side, and look, you can see that. That's what used to be done in the 1800s. The Victorians used to try and preserve stones like that, and I can guarantee you they had probably joined it together and reassembled it, whereas it must have actually fallen apart again at a later time. Look at these stones here folks, wow. The carving of the stone, the detail, the history on display here to be documented. Often you would just come through a village like this and not even realise all the nuggets that's available or around. That's why on this channel I love just coming into these places and throwing the camera on and seeing what we see. Look at this ancient headstone. Fujitsu DC inverter. 1600s I believe folks, this one. Look at this folks. I believe this is actually a war grave right here. Look, Private Catherine E. Martin. Auxiliary Territorial Service, 20th of May 1944, age 21. And it is incredible to remember, often a lot of these servicemen and women lost their lives for the freedom of the country that we've got today, and it's easy to forget that in a modern world where on our doorsteps it's peaceful. And in a wee village like this, it's just peaceful is the word I would use to describe it basically. Look at these ancient stones right here folks. Wow. Wow, I love that. I often say wow when I'm looking at things, but it's because of the intricate details in the carvings. If you consider it's like hundreds of years old, like think how grand and perfect it must have looked the day it was carved. Look at this, unfortunately with this stone here, the weather has gone in and taken the surface layer off. That fence wire is actually holding it up. And that's the sad thing that can also sometimes happen with stones like that. They're obviously stones which have been taken out of the ground and quarried. Yeah, as we go around I'll just look at these really ancient ones which are propped up against the church wall here. And like I say, anybody that watches this video, if you want to buy this place, it's for sale. Probably if you contact the number on that sign. I'll record it again in a second as I go out. Yeah, look, I think this one here is 17. Let's get a close up. 1702. So like 1702. The history here folks is just blowing my mind as I look around. What a cool wee nugget this is to hear in the video though as well. It's not just obviously like the start of the video where we're actually up in Aberdeenshire or in the northern lands, and then to come down here today, this is actually the day after, like I mentioned earlier, there is a chance of thunder and lightning. So I just came out to throw the camera on and record some history of Scotland before it's too late. There is a wind as well. Yeah, look, there's the phone number there for the church. But yeah, what a fun wee adventure. We've actually documented that waterfall as well, which was a postcard scene. I think because the bridge and stuff is built behind the waterfall, that gives it an extra cool aesthetic folks. Anyway, that's me just about back to my car. Thanks very much for tuning in to another BKR video. I'm not sure where I'm going for the next one, but I'm ending this one here. Thanks very much for watching and we'll see you soon, wherever I end up going.